Hi. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this video. Family members may come in, FYI. So I'm going to show you, because I'm having pizza tonight. If you watched my other video, I made a pizza crust. I will show it to you in a few seconds. And I'm also boiling potatoes, so like, if I freak out, you'll know why. I'm like scooping foam and all that. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I make the sauce for my pizza, my raw pizza, because it's also the same sauce that I use to make my raw stuffed mushrooms. So I get these Baby Bellas at Aldi's, and to make the stuffed mushrooms, you just take a spoon and you scoop all of this white area and the stem out, and you can try to deepen it a little bit if you want to, and then you want to put them in, like I put them in this little bowl, and I just kind of stack them around, and then I take, you can do soy sauce or tamari or liquid aminos, they're all pretty much the same thing, and you pour a little bit into each mushroom and then just let them sit in the fridge like basically all day. So what you do with the insides and the stem is you put them in the sauce and you mix that around after you get everything made, and then you just use that to stuff the mushrooms. It gives it a little extra bulk. But for the sauce, I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is slice the mushrooms for my pizza tonight, so I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to put them away. Forgot I need dates. Just one date. I usually grab a great big squishy fat one. I gotta watch my potatoes. I decided to try this Pinterest recipe for shepherd's pie, so we'll see how they like it. Okay, so date pitted in there. A regular tomato, don't use the Roma because they don't have enough juice. I might need another, so I usually get these ones on a vine. And so I'm gonna use a couple, clove of garlic thrown in there and some onion. But I'm gonna do, because these tomatoes are like only this big, I'm gonna use like 1.5. Okay, so I have my tomato in here. And then what you want to use is sun-dried tomatoes. But since I don't have sun-dried tomatoes and I never can find any, what I have are dehydrated tomatoes that I did myself. And they've been sitting downstairs because I quit using dehydrated food for a long time. And so what I do is like just a small handful of these go in here as well, to kind of thicken it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be terribly thick because you're going to be adding some spices and stuff to it. So onion. Tip, onions always stink up your fridge. Put them in a mason jar. You're welcome. So I'm just going to use like this and chop it up somewhat because this is going to be pretty full. And I might have to put water in here just a little bit. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter because when you just want a fairly decently thick paste. I love this little thing. It's good for sauces and dressings all the time. And then I drink like almost all of this of a smoothie. Okay. It's going to be loud. Oh, there we go. So this doesn't thicken up as much as the dressing, but it's, I mean, it's, here, I'm just gonna, can you see it? It's pretty runny. It's kind of like tomato sauce. Okay. And I usually blend it until the date is pretty much blended. I mean, you can see just tiny little chunks. So, all right, I'll use that, this. Okay, so spices, what I usually put in here, you can put in whatever you want. Italian seasoning, dump, you're done. I usually use basil for sure. I wish they would make these in like this size because that would be sweet. Basil, and I use oregano. And I use parsley. Parsley is my favorite herb, and thyme, both of those. All right. And so like I said, you're gonna make the same exact thing all the way up to this point for the stuffed mushrooms. It's just when you get to do the mushrooms, then you core out the mushrooms and you put the mushrooms in here and you chop up the stems a little bit and then you throw them in here. So I'm going to let this sit because my crust won't be done until dinner time-ish. It's almost done now, pretty much. If you want the pizza crust recipe, it's raw. You need a dehydrator. It is on the Raw Advantage YouTube channel. And it's called something like the Top Secret, I don't know, raw vegan pizza crust or something like that. But it's really, really good. I'm still working on perfecting the recipe, so I will be right back with the crust to show you. Ta-da! So he said make it thick. So the first time I made this pizza crust, I thought it was thick, and then I forgot the dehydrator like shrinks things down to dinky amounts. It was really good, but it had a lot of holes and whatever. So this time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this super thick, and look, there's still holes. But this is what it looks like. It still needs to dry some more because it's decently floppy bendy. But all this is basically this same tomato recipe and spiralized zucchini, and you throw it all together and you put it on one of those Teflex sheets and dehydrate it. And so now I have it on one of these regular sheets to kind of get underneath and top. But this is gonna be my pizza tonight. And it's de-frickin-licious. I like the thinner crust actually, so I might just stick with that next time. But it's a lot more dates and a lot more tomatoes, and I'm basically making a bigger batch because you have to coat like 3 huge zucchinis with it. So that's gonna be my pizza. But what you do is, because you don't want this to get soggy, even though it's totally not dry yet, you basically put a bed of spinach over the top of it, and then you spread the sauce we just made over the spinach and put your toppings on and put it back in the hydrator for like 2 hours. What you're trying to do is not necessarily cook the pizza because it needs to be raw, but you need to warm them all up so that it all tastes good. And then I do an anti-raw and I put on an Aldi's vegan mozzarella, just a tiny bit, because I don't like the taste of it unless it's cooked. So I just do that. You can also use this nutritional yeast because it's kind of a cheesy flavor. So I've done that. I actually use this on my stuffed mushrooms. I'll just take and sprinkle a little bit on top, and oh my gosh, so good. Okay, that's all I got. That's how you make the sauce. Make some stuffed mushrooms. Look on YouTube for recipes like this, because I can't eat anything. I can't eat any corn. I can't eat any gluten. So it pretty much rules out every crust ever. And now that I'm trying to eat raw for a while, like, whew, there's just no more options. So thanks for watching. Again, I hope you're doing well on your journey. Please don't be afraid to ask me questions if you need to.